And what you see here is men that could be doing anything today. But today we decided to come out here and call our people out because our people are living in poverty. Our people living in debt. Our people living in Skid Row. Our people living in tents across Los Angeles, across the valley. If you go out to Pacoima, to San Fernando, you see our people living in tents under the bridges. And let me tell you what the city does. They're going there and they're blocking off with fences for our people can't live there. So where are people gonna live? I'll tell you where they want you to live. They want you to all come down here to Skid Row. That's the only place that you'll be able to live in LA now. And you know what they're doing? They're pushing our people to a point of where we're in despair. And you know what's the #1 disease in America right now? If you think it's COVID, take another guess. The #1 disease in America right now is suicide. They got more suicides in America than at any other time in history. Because you know what? A lot of people can't cope with what's going on in America. But let me tell you something. Blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians, we've been coping with destruction for our people since 1492. That's how long we've been coping with destruction. And let me tell you something, how strong Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians are. We are still here. We have dealt with the situations in America, and you still find us here. Our people are still thriving in these communities. But you know what happens? We want to be drug addicts. We want to be alcoholics. We want to be weed heads. We want to come against our brothers. Instead of, you know who you should come up against? Yourself, for being a goddamn drug addict. You should come up against yourself for being an alcoholic. You should come up against yourself for not being able to do nothing to better yourself. And now you find yourself in the streets of America. And you know who put you in America? The white man put you here in America. They came to this continent and murdered 77 million Native American Indians. And now they live in America happily ever after. The American dream is the Latin American and Black man and Native American Indians' nightmare. And we still live it to this day. And let me tell you something. If you look at my people, we still living in poverty. My children are in cages. They're dying of hunger. They're dying of colds. They're dying of disease. And their children are being sold to white America. And the Chinese man, let me tell you something. He comes to this country, doesn't speak a goddamn drop of English, and is driving around in Mercedes-Benz. And lives in the better towns, in the better neighborhoods, in the better cities. The Armenians, they're out there fighting today for the Armenian genocide. The Native American Indian lived through a genocide. And no one gives a damn about these people. Where is the marches for the Native American Indian? Stop thinking about yourself, selfish man, selfish Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian. Stop thinking about yourself, because you know what? Your time is done. Now you're living here in America under the boot of the white man. And you know how I know? Because I can walk around my neighborhoods and who I see suffering are the Black, the Hispanic, and the Native American Indian. That's who I see suffering. I see people talking about, well, at least I got a job. Brother, you out here sweeping the streets of downtown LA. While the white man is living great and working in the high-rise buildings. And you know what he's doing? He's living luscious in his kingdom. And you're suffering, Black man, Latino. You're suffering in America. You can barely make your goddamn rent. You live in a scroungy apartment. Your car, if you have one, is overdue. The payment is all you got. And you know why? Because they have you in this condition. I remember downtown LA Broadway. I remember Spring Street. You know what the governor of California, the mayor of LA did? Nothing when you were there. Broadway was a garbage street. Only nobodies walked in Broadway. And today, since the white people have gentrified this area and have moved in, now they make it beautiful.
Now they pushed all the black people away from Broadway. They don't want you there because of the color of your skin. And let me tell you something. I would say it's nationality, but white people, whether they're Armenian, Jewish, Arab, or whatever they may be, they do not get discriminated on. But if you're Mexican, we got a problem because you're Mexican. You know how I know this is true? Because let me bring out this young brother here. In Boyle Heights, we had a young brother who was killed. He was only 16 years old. You know what he was? He was a tagger. You know, a young kid who was out writing on walls. You know why we write on walls? Because it's our art form. We've done this for centuries. You know what? When the white man does it, it's called a mural. When we do it, it's called tagging. When we do it, it's called destroying private property. When we do it, it's called garbage. But when they do it, it's called the work of art. They can write all over a goddamn wall and it's a work of art. But as soon as you touch it, Mexican, black man, it's called graffiti. It's called garbage. It's called that you touched something and destroyed it. Seems like anything they touch, they destroy. They destroyed the Native American Indian. They destroyed the Hispanic people. This young man's name, let me give you his name. His name was Jesse Romero. You know why you don't know about Jesse Romero? Because you don't care about your people. Because you would all rather come and argue with us about this and that and be ignorant like you are than to understand that your people are being killed on the streets of America. You know why? Because you don't care about nobody but yourself. And even though you live in misery, you live in poverty, you live on the streets, you still don't care about your people. Well, today, I'm telling you about Jesse Romero. You know why? Because I do care about this young man. 16-year-old man, 16-year-old boy, who was out with his crew. And the police, the sheriffs came up. They didn't even ask. They opened fire on these kids. A 16-year-old boy lost his life. And you know why? Because they don't care about you. They could have stopped and asked, hey, what are you guys doing? Or could have stopped and said, hey, that's vandalism, supposedly. Or could have come and said, you know what? You guys are under arrest. But instead what they did was shoot them and kill them on the spot. Does it sound familiar, black man? Because that's exactly what's happening to your people. Your people are dying in the streets of America without question. They're not asking what happened, what you're doing, where you're at, where you're going. They're opening fire on you. You know what the sad part is? And I hate to say it, but some of these brothers are dying. And they're living a good life, but they're dying in vain. You know why? Because we need to be following the Lord. We need to be in the hands of Christ, because Christ is the one that's going to cover us. Christ is the one that's going to give us the opportunity to change our lives. Brother, I'm going to give me this scripture real quick. Because what's happening here is that our brothers and sisters, give me, because this is what's happening to our people. But let me tell you something. Black man, Hispanic man, rich man, poor man, white man, Arab man, black rich man. America is going to burn in nuclear war. America is going to be destroyed. Whether you're eating on the streets of America, whether you're wearing your suit today to go to work, whether you're in poverty, whether you're Mexican, whether you're black, you're going to be part of a nation that the Lord has wrote in the Bible that will be destroyed. Because it's a nation that loves homosexuality. Because it's a nation that has destroyed black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. It's prophesied in the Bible that America is going to burn to the ground. Whether you're in uniform, whether you serve this country, whether you're poor, whether you're in poverty, whether you upkeep the law or not, you're going to be part of the destruction that's coming on America. And let me tell you something. You all Christians, you all believe in God, because as soon as something happens, you drop to your knees and pray. So let me tell you something. That God that you're going to pray to is bringing death and destruction to America. It's going to burn. And you know why? Because America, let me tell you how America was built, people. America was built on the blood and bones and and slavery of black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. Think about it. You're living in a country that's waiting to be judged because of the crimes they have committed on innocent people. If you're a black man or woman, your forefathers came in slavery. They were forced to work to make this country rich. Christopher Columbus started the first corporation in this country. He enslaved the Taino and the Arawak Indian till their death on the sugar plantations of Cuba. Y los cubanos were wiped out picking that sugar cane. And today America is rich because of that corporation. The next corporation was the sugar plantations. And let me tell you something. The next one was coffee. Los bananeros en Honduras. Are you Mexican? Are you from Central America? ¿Te acuerdan de los bananeros? En el tiempo de los bananeros, they forced the people from Honduras and Guatemala and Centroamérica a piscar el plátano for 10 cents all week. And you were picking their banana. And guess who became rich? America became rich. Y tú mexicano, tú centroamericano, tú negro are living in poverty. Let me think. Our countries are rich in their natural resource. La banana viene de Centroamérica. How come my people aren't rich in Centroamérica? Brother, we should be rich because our country is making America rich. So why aren't we rich, Latinos? ¿Por qué vivimos en la miseria? I'll tell you why. Porque nos hemos agarrado del sueño americano. We have grabbed hold of the American dream. And that American dream is a nightmare for us. Black man, what happened to you? You're a strong working brother, man. Let me tell you something. The football fields, the basketball field, the basketball courts would be nothing without you. The music industry would be nothing without you. Why do you live in poverty then?
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it works out.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, sold packs. I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good ship. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword.